This is the Rebel Scum podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion.
And now here are your hosts, Brock and James.
It's always a fun time here at Rebel Scum Podcast where we don't know how it's going to go. I don't know. Here we are. I'm Brock. This is
James, the 2024 edition of James. So new and improved or old and falling apart?
That's right. He turned 40, and this is what he's like now. He was complaining about grapes earlier today.
I was. I don't know why I picked grapes, of all things.
I never know.
No one will ever know why I picked grapes.
It's another Star Wars day. No content as of yet. But, what's going on? What is happening? Also, I'm supposed to be on the left side.
All right, we'll get hate mail from that.
There we go.
Nope. Welcome. Hi, Jacob and Dale. Dale's off to work. He doesn't even like us. I'm gonna have to bring the mic closer to me. Look. So I wake up. It's New Year's Day. A couple days ago, we do our ranking Star Wars show on the channel. So thank you everybody who watched that, who were participating in the live chat of that. Thank you so much. Brock and I, of course, we woke up in a ditch, just like in a ditch. And your car was missing, which was really strange. We spent the whole day trying to find your car. I'm older than 40. I should put that up. No, so I wake up and I was hanging out. We were just stuff, and I for whatever reason I decided to log on to Twitter, to X. And it's always a mistake. Anytime you decide to log into that, it's a giant mistake. And I read this quote. Have you seen this new quote that was I think it was a CNN or Variety article or something? I don't know which one it originated from. It was CNN. It was on CNN New Year's Day. It comes up on CNN New Year's Day from the director of the Rey movie. Have you seen this at all?
Is it? She's like, it's about time that there's a woman-led thing. I'm like, sure, okay.
So I wake up and I see that, and of course I'm just like, awesome. Until this stupid movie comes out, this is going to to ruin my life. Brock is on Kashyyyk celebrating Life Day, Jacob. I'm on Hoth and you're on. Jacob's asking what planet you're on. So anyway, I wake up, I see this, I'm like, well, this is it. Until the movie comes out, we're gonna have to hear about how it's all feminist and we don't even know what it's about, but now we do. And there's two. I have different views on this, Brock. Different views hit me on the annoyance of this from different sides. First of all, Star Wars is in such a fragile state right now.
Yeah.
That how can your PR allow the first headline coming out to be, we need to shake it, a female, you pointed in the direction that's just going to add more to the already demented algorithm of social media. It's like it needs a win. She has another quote in here to me that is the one that we should all be gravitating to. And she says, "I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel what we're about to create is something very special." Cool, yeah. It's why are we not hanging on to that quote? Because that's what I kind of feel like where they're set up in this, where even if you hate Rey and the sequels with all of your heart, you hate them with a passion. You can't tell me that there's a part of Rey being older, reviving the Jedi Order. There's a lot you can do there. And you can bring Star Wars into the future and keep going and continue the saga the way that we kind of all want it to go. You can do that with this. And that quote gives me more of that. And then, she says it's about time, the female, a woman came forward to shape a galaxy far, far away. And then that quote, Brock, is like people are mad at because how dare a woman shape Star Wars, but then people are mad, and then like the other side that was mad, like, but what about Bryce Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow? It's like, well, yeah, they're great, but they've never done a movie, and that's what she's referring to here. So it was kind of annoying to me. I want to hear what you say, that the first piece of PR we get was that quote when you could have used the other one. The other one is so much stronger, but they allowed for some reason that one to be the one. And it's just I'm excited for the Rey movie. And I think we've got to stop pushing like you're stupid. Like, I don't care. Like, no one cares anymore. I think we're past this. Give me the special. Let's focus on the special.
Well, I would say that most people don't read articles, so that the title has to be, or the headline has to be salacious. Yes. I thought it was just like, oh, we need a woman-run film, like character-wise. So it's more of like, I'll be the first woman director of a Star Wars movie. Is that what she was saying?
I think it's just the female perspective, I think is what she's saying, which okay, good. Here's the thing, Brock. I can't really comment on anything. Like, I think of all of it, like Heidi right now is the only one in the chat that probably has a say in this, because we're not women, so we don't have that perspective going into it anyway. Because I've always said this with my sister. Like, I grew up with my sisters the same age as you, and when we saw The Force Awakens, she totally took Rey differently from me and my dad. Like, it was a completely different thing, and it's just like our mindsets aren't there, so we can have an opinion. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I just rambled, but like, I just want the special.
Oh, sure. I don't know, man. Like, none of this means anything till there's a trailer. I know this fills the entire conversation, but like, let's be honest. Like, we were promised Catherine Bigelow, who was supposed to do.
No, it was Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. Sorry, I can't remember everyone's name. It's crazy. I was like,
well, there've been so many through the revolving Star Wars door.
Exactly. So it's just like, first of all, it's like, it's not like Star Wars isn't, or Lucasfilms isn't trying. It's led by a woman, so whatever. I know Ahsoka's not a movie, but it was a fairly female-run show, or like driven story. And then like Rey, I would argue, I mean, again, I know this isn't about characters, but like, that's how I took it. I was like, well, the sequels are about Rey. She's the main character. But yeah, I mean, do we need human women directors in Star Wars? Sure, why not? We just need Star Wars. We just need something. Like we can talk about hypotheticals, but like, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm all on board.
Heidi doesn't care. Heidi doesn't care. There is one important factor though, is that Rey is obviously a female character, and if she's going to be your central character, maybe somebody that identifies more with her, because there were people complaining about how Rey was written in the sequels, which was all written by men. So maybe if you still don't like Rey and it's written by, well, it's still going to be written by a male, because a Stephen Knight is writing it, so it's still written by a man. I don't know. Look, I think this is one of those things that Hollywood loves to do, is they love to pretend that the gender and race and everything matters of these directors, when really it's just like, who's the most talented one? Who's the one that likes Star Wars and appreciates the world the most? Throw them in there, and that's how it works. And so far, I think the ones who have really shown that have been like Favreau, Filoni, Chow. Everybody that's worked on The Mandalorian has really, I think, but that's a very different thing also, because, and I think, and I've said this before, Brock, I think the movies need to work like The Mandalorian works, where you have whoever's calling the shots, and then who's a talented director? This person, like George Lucas did with the originals. He's like, guess what? I'm going to get my film teacher to do this, because that's who can do it. Like, and he found people to do it. And nobody wants to do the prequels because they're all like, you want to do your own thing. But Feige, whatever you think of Marvel, Feige's done it brilliantly over at Marvel. It's clearly was his ship for a long time. And he just got people to come in and make it the way, to go in the direction and do the labor, because he can't do it all. I was talking to Aaron about just watching something and they had different directors. She goes, oh, TV shows have different directors. And I was explaining, like, a director does this episode, but while they're working on this episode, the director of the next one's in. And I was like, and then there's How I Met Your Mother, which somehow has the same director for every episode. She's like, I'll meet you guys at the bar set next week. And that was like the whole thing for that. But that's how it works. And that's almost how Star Wars needs to work. I don't think they should throw them out like Marvel 3 movies a year or anything, but I think you need to, you have to have someone overseeing it, and then just hire the most talented person to make it, male, female. Greedo. I don't really care. Just we need, like you said, we need Star Wars.
Yeah, it's just like it's pretty bad. Where like the only thing I'm optimistic for is the cartoons that they probably already have completely finished. Like all these shows, like I'm not optimistic any of them are going to come out on time, or I mean, they don't fully have a date, right? Like it's just like this is the issue. I don't care if it's written by AI. Let's just make some Star Wars. Like,
whoa,
yeah, man, come at me, come at me.
Honestly,
I don't understand why people who like Star Wars might have an issue with AI. It's literally 3PO and R2D2 they're creating. They're creating a mentality that could talk to you. I'm all in.
Vermont Mike is saying, to me, Rey didn't seem forced despite the Mary Sue accusations. I agree. I think that for me, there were some, for me, that it wasn't Mary Sue. I thought just some of the stuff they did with her was just like lazy. Like, we need to move along. Let's do it. And but that's not just a fault of the Star Wars movies. That's like every movie I watch nowadays. It's like, they're like, how do we get forward? I don't know. Here's an A. Okay, let's do it. And you're like, why'd you do that? Because we needed to get to the next scene. Okay. Sure. Like, it feels like that's happening quite a lot in the last little while. It worked because it did feel like a DEI storyline. What's DEI? Am I missing something? Like a DEI. Heidi, you gotta help me out. I am
DEI.
Deo. Misa Day. Beetlejuice 2 coming out this year, Brock. Beetlejuice 2. I know you're a big Beetlejuice fan. Check out his Beetlejuice Scum podcast.
My wife's a Beetlejuice fan. She's like, why are they making a second one? And I'm like, I think because they can.
Yeah, because Jenna Ortega is hot right now, and Michael Keaton is back, and he was like, Timmy B, let's make it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to. And he goes, cast Jenna Ortega. And Timmy B's like, all right, let's go.
I don't know. It's just like, let's just make it again. I don't like, I know I'm the only one that like cares about High Republic usually on like in this chat. It's just like, those are good stories. They're really good stories. So it's capable. I mean, granted, it's a book. It doesn't maybe translate to film, but I'm like, there are people out there that can have good ideas. So let's just hire them. Oh, here's the other thing about High Republic. It's written by many men and many women across all different spectrums. Like there's a lot of LGBTQ presence. Like they are a brain trust. So it's like Lucasfilm, or I don't know who, like, what do they call the publishing side? Like, is it still just Lucasfilm? Like when it comes to books?
I think it's
I don't even know.
Publishing. You have the books. You tell me.
Oh yeah, I have the digital books. I can't look at this thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's like like, are we worried about diversity in Star Wars? It's usually about like characters that aren't human. Like it's like the whole spectrum of different mentalities. And trust me, like a lot of like those different, like the new things we talk about on a daily basis, LGBTQ, neurodivergence, just everything, like gender fluidity, it's happening in Star Wars. It's just not getting, it's actually, I would feel because I've been reading a lot of Star Wars in the last 5 years, there's a lot of that present without it being pounded into your face. It's just there. It is just there. And you're like, okay, I understand now. Because that's the point of like movies or books or just storytelling in general. It's like, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to describe these characters to you, and it's whether you relate to them or not. Or like most stories are like, aha, I understand what's happening. Like, isn't that the whole point of storytelling? So I'm all for it. She said, let's go. Like that director, like, forgive me, I don't remember names, and she's only really done one thing, which I love, Miss Marvel. That was a great show. Let's go. Let's make this thing. So let's stop talking and let's start doing. All female, great. Love the Marvels. Loved it. High praise for probably one of my top 10 2023 movies I enjoyed. Go see it. It feels great.
Did you see 10 movies in 2023?
Probably. I mean, that's the thing. Did I go to the theater 10 times? Maybe close to that, but like,
I did not.
The theater, of course you don't. You have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And you
No, I didn't even
once.
I looked at my list of like the top 10 movies I
Mhm.
wanted to watch from 2023. I
Mhm.
saw four of them.
Yeah, sure. And it's like, here's the thing. It's like, you don't have to go to the theater anymore. So it's like, I don't know, the top 10 pieces of content I ingested this year. And Marvel's was great. It was like, oh, this is so fun. So it's just like, just do that in Star Wars. I don't know. It's literally a movie for kids. Like, I don't know why this has to be so hard.
Because it's funny because they like, remember they had the Seth Green Star Wars Detours cartoon show that was supposed to be funny and it looked great. It looked like it would be a good little laugh. And then Disney was like, no, we want kids to be afraid of Darth Vader. Who cares?
But then you license out to Lego.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, there's that. It's like, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who honestly cares? Darth Vader is not scary. That scene in Rogue One is awesome, but he's not scary. And why does it matter if he's scared? Like, if you put him in a movie and he's terrifying in a movie, whatever those jokes are in that side show that we're watching, who cares? There's a whole. They have a. I think the Disney people have a massive issue with how to utilize the brand. I think they're getting better at it, but like ever since then, it's like, well, why can't you be funny and then have the Rogue One scene? We're not going to sit in Rogue One and be like, that's the guy from Detours. No, that's the guy from A New Hope who blasts through the doors and chokes a guy because he needs to find the Death Star. Like, that's it. That's what it is. Like, we're fine with it, but for some reason, they want to. But then, I go, like I say, I go on Twitter, Brock. I go on Twitter and I see people comment things on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe the Disney people are right. Maybe people are just dumb AF and they can't handle seeing different things because people on Twitter are very dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Heidi. You just want a good story, and it doesn't matter whether you're this or that or whatever. Like, and if you can write a story and like make people think about stuff like that, great, perfect.
Well,
let's roll.
Bob Iger came out earlier this year, like late last year, I should say, and he said like they want to worry less about messaging in their stories. And people got mad. They're like, "Whoa, but all Disney movies are based on fairy tale." I'm like, but there is a difference between a message and a moral, right? Like like you said, the books are not pounding things on your head. But there are times you watch movies nowadays and you're like, "Wow, you're really throwing that down my throat." Like, you feel it. Like, and if people around you feel it when you're watching it, and there's a difference, and you have to be subtle with it. And I think that's what he was trying to get at, is that they're pushing people more away because of their messaging that they really want and whatever, whether it's right or wrong. And I think you've got to find a way to do it more naturally. Like what Heidi was saying was the diversity, equality, and inclusion didn't feel forced in a sequel trilogy. And that's what's got to be, right? It's got to be like, if you have characters of certain whatever, they should just be there, and you got to fit it. I don't know. I'm not the one doing this, so I can't really speak to it, but when you do force things on people in a very bashing you over the head kind of way, you feel it. And that is when the YouTube algorithm chasers really thrive, because you're basically giving them a full plate of food to feast upon with that. But when you do it in a nice way, in a way that you can watch it and appreciate it, and it doesn't feel forced, but you it's there, and you understand it, that to me works a lot better. And I think that is the subtlety of it, which is something that Hollywood is lacking on a lot, also, is being subtle. And so that's where they got to go. I don't know how this, equates to this Rey movie. The Rey thing, Brock, was just, she says we have a chance to do something special, but like that has just been glossed right over. And the obsession has been on, it's time for a woman to steer the ship. Who cares? The special part is what I care about. Like, yes, make something that I'm like, that was damn good. Make that movie. Like A New Hope was nominated for Oscars. Empire probably should have been, but A New Hope was. Bring it back to that. Bring it back to that. Like, make that your Star Wars, and let me see what you got. Let me see what you got.
Basically, it's like make something so we remember what your name is. That's really what we're saying. It's
Well,
like
there's that. Yes.
I'm not downplaying that director's talent. I just don't remember your name, but like I know your work, so I like it. Not like I don't know. I never told you this. I finally watched The Creator because it's now on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I almost watched it, and Aaron was out.
it's really good. It's long. It's sci. If you don't like sci-fi, I get it. I think I showed my wife, and she was like, "No, you can watch it." I'm like, cool. So I watched it. It was great, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is Gareth Edwards!" And I'm like, "This is fantastic." I immediately started watching his other movie, Monsters. Just be like, "Oh,
yeah, that's a good one. I like.
Yeah, like it's so. It's just like, yeah, it's like you have The Creator and you have Rebel Moon, and you're like, we have. I mean, like Creator isn't a Star Wars idea, but Gareth Edwards did make a Star Wars movie, and Zack Snyder tried to make a Star Wars movie. It's just like it's amazing how two people that think about Star Wars, that what they translate into like a sci-fi, because like even though The Creator isn't really about space travel, it is about like a futuristic world and what have you. It's just like it looks good, and it's like it's a sci-fi sort of action-packed sort of movie, but then it also is like, oh wow, that really got to me. It's like, like I feel like if you can feel an emotion about a story, then win. It's a win. Mm-hmm. Of course, that depends on how you relate to it, but like I don't know. I just finished watching the first season of what's that Jason Sudeikis movie with the soccer? Ted Lasso. And the last episode, spoilers, when one of the players has to retire, I kind of shed a tear because it was just a moment, and it's just like there's no dialogue in the scene. I'm like, that's what good storytelling is. So it's like, as long as the story's good, who cares? we can make young Mark Hamill show up in things. I think we can make what's his face, Josh Groban into Thanos, and it looks good. I'm like
Josh Brolin. Josh Groban would be. I would actually have preferred Josh Groban. I would have preferred Josh Groban.
He just sings all his lines. Oh my god!
Here's the question, because Rebel Moon is one that I keep hearing like mixed things on. And actually, when I was going to watch The Creator or Rebel Moon, and I asked Rob and Fantasia, I said,
"Oh God!"
And they both said The Creator like pretty fast. They're both.
Oh yeah. Okay, thank God.
But we ended up watching Leave the World Behind on Netflix.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know if it's good. The problem with that movie is it feels like a streaming movie. Like at first you're like, this is gonna be good, and then it's kind of like, all right. Like they kind of tell you everything, and while they're telling you, you're like, okay, I get it, and like things happen, and then they kind of at the end when they explain it, you're like, okay. Like that's how the movie left me feeling okay. It wasn't bad. It looks great. It's got some great cinematography in it. Ethan Hawke is always the best actor on whatever he's in. And actually, what's his face is really good in it as well. The two guys are really good in it. And the daughter is our friend Marsha, because she's just obsessed with Friends through the whole thing. But like, yeah, it was okay. But then we ended up watching that. But they both said The Creator. But what I want to say is, look, so Scarif Scuttlebutt is saying Rebel Moon. Oh, that's not what I wanted to put in there.
Straight from the SSP?
Yeah. I wanted to love Rebel Moon, but damn, it sucked. So here's what I wanted to say, though, is like, because I hear all these mixed things about Rebel Moon. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't come one way or another. And it doesn't really matter to me if it's good or bad, because I'm going to watch it. But Star Wars, can the next Star Wars movie suck is the problem, because I don't think it can. I think Star Wars, like we started this show off, Brock, is on like this thin ice. It really needs better PR than what it's getting, and it needs and that's why the special line is what they should have led with. But it needs it needs to be a special movie. It needs to be a really good movie, and it can't be Last Jedi. If you think Last Jedi is the best one, it can't be Last Jedi. It has to be like New Hope good.
Yeah,
it has to be Phantom Menace good. In fact, I'm not the craziest.
I like how you
I'm not
that in.
But it has
I
to,
don't care.
but it has to be, and this isn't my favorite one either, but it has to be like Force Awakens-esque and bringing us back in. Whether you love Force Awakens or not now, but for all of us were excited for Force Awakens, and that's what me and my Phantom Menace also does. That excitement level from the first picture we get from remember that J.J. Abrams that charity thing that he did, and we saw the first like puppet thing walking behind him, and he was on Jakku, and we're like, "What? My God, puppets!" That's what we need from this new movie from Star Wars. It needs to regain our trust in it once again, and all of our trust. And that's gonna be hard. Like, obviously, there's the section that's not going to be, not gonna like it no matter what. But it needs for me. I don't think it can fail. What about you?
Maybe this delay is sort of like as you were describing that, I was like, maybe this is all a delay, a purposeful like delay, so that like regardless of what it is, we'll go see it. Not you and me, we'll go see it anyways. But like the masses, they're like, oh, Star Wars movie, I'm in. I can't remember the last one. Which if you wait a couple like years, the next generation won't really be aware of the past mistakes, if you want to call it that.
But does the TV stuff ruin that?
No, I don't think so. Because it's like I don't know. I think a lot of people like the TV, so the TV show. So it's like, oh, Star Wars in theater, yeah, I'll go. Also, you really gotta watch Rebel Moon so we can talk about it. I don't want to spoil anything, but like when you says like something, it has to get to like New Hope quality, and it's just like. You watch Rebel Moon and you're just like, oh, that would have been this and that would have been that. And like one thing that stood out to me is like the spaceships. So like what would be a Star Destroyer doesn't have the same magnitude of like an actual Star Destroyer, like coming into frame and what have you. Like that's one thing that I'm like, that's what this is missing. Or that's the one thing that Star Wars is like just the look of Star Wars. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the story but it's just like you look at it and you're like, yeah, like there are parts in Rebel Moon where I'm like, did you steal this costume from Spaceballs? Because like that was intentional to be a joke, you know what I mean? Like, but like, and the effects are good. Don't get me wrong. It's just something about it doesn't work properly. I don't know. I that's all I'll say because I do want you to watch it so we can talk about it. But it's just like there is a certain veneer that is put on things in Star Wars that can only be attained by Star Wars. I don't know if that's intentional or no one tries to get to that point, but it's just like, yeah. So I think that's the thing that they got going for them. And maybe that's why they're so precious about their IP, where it's just like, it's got to be perfect. It's got to, because like, it's sort of like, it's like you go into the theaters like you got them 50% of the way. Just from that logo, like how many people look at our podcast logo and they're like, oh, is that Star Wars? And they're like, no, it's just some podcast. But like,
thumb down.
People are in immediately because they're like, I know that. Like, that is a lot of iconic things about Star Wars that just work immediately. So it's like I wonder if like whoever hires these writers, directors, like, look, you're already 50% there because you got Star Wars on the top. Go the other 50. It's like it may be intimidating, but I would think that's like kind of nice because you're like, it just has to be a decent story where people can relate. That's it. And explosions.
Okay, let's get to this comment here from Scuttlebutt. Why did they decide to make a Rey movie? What market research told them this is the way? Oh, see what they did. No, what did you do there? I don't get it. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I just think the Rey thing, whether you like Rey, hate Rey, sequels, whatever, is the natural progression of where to go now. Like we go back, we go forward. But I think the Rey thing, there's so much good that could come from it. Whether or not we'll get it, I don't know. But I do think even if you hate Rey, I think there's a lot that you can definitely take from it. Brock, any thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's like, why this? But maybe all these movies they announce are like a director or writer came in and pitched an idea, and they were like, "That sounds good. Let's do it." I would hope that is the way. It's like, "Hey, I have an idea for this character. Can I do it?" And they'll be like, "Sure. I like your idea. Let's do it." I hope it's that. I don't know. Like, I hope it's well. No, I don't. I'll say it. I hope it's not marketing because, like, I don't want some. algorithm deciding what it is. I want people to make Star Wars because they have a story to tell. So
yeah, but I do think that the point though there is people seem to hate Rey all of a sudden. Like, but I think if once the trailer comes, I think if it, I mean, I have no, obviously we don't know what's going to be, but I think it has to be the best Star Wars trailer since that Force Awakens teaser. You know, it has to be the one that makes us go, yeah, I want to watch Star Wars. Because I don't think The Last Jedi had very good trailers. I don't think it needed very good trailers. Obviously, it made $1 billion and people hated it. And they loved it. But I don't know if I can't remember Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker had the excitement with the title and all that, I guess. But Force Awakens had the best 1-2 punch of the trailers of all of them, I think. And we got and Phantom Menace, you remember that first trailer for it, the quick time 15-hour download to watch. That was fantastic though, right? With the Gungans and the horn. You didn't know what was going on. Troy, you're like, what's happening? Star Wars is here. So it needs to be something like that that really catches us, and I can't wait.
Yeah, but like so many movies do that. Like I get excited about a lot of things. So it's, and then that being said, it's like I can't remember half of the trailers. I had to really think. It's like, what happened? And I can remember Last Jedi because we saw one of the trailers when we were at Celebration. I think we've talked about it enough times that Force Awakens. I'm like, oh right, it's like Finn pops up, BB-8 on the sand, Rey on the thing.
And it reminded you like, oh yeah, this is what I love about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. That's what it did.
But it's like, it's funny because that trailer tells you nothing and just introduces like, this is a character, this is a character, this is a thing.
And
like,
maybe that's for the best. Maybe they shouldn't tell us anything. Maybe they should just be like, you're gonna like it, we promise.
That's like a catchphrase for like a business site or a restaurant in the States. Like, you're gonna like it, we promise. Or I can't remember what it is. I've heard that in a commercial. But yeah, like I just your first mistake is going on Twitter for one. But I don't know. It's like we come on the show and it's like, oh, people hate this and that, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
it's like, who are these people?
They're everywhere. All right, Brock, let's go to a new segment that we're going to do, blind rankings. I don't know if you want to do this or not, but I'm putting you on the spot, which is what the point of this is. I'm going to give you a topic and I'm going to just randomly tell you something, and you're going to say where in 1 to 5 you want to put what I tell you, okay?
Okay.
Blind rankings. Here we go. Here's the numbers. Look at that. Bam. We're going to do bounty hunters.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Blind rankings on bounty hunters. I'm going to give you one, and you're just going to say 1 through 5 where you think they should go on the list. Zam Wessel.
Is 1 highest?
1 is highest.
5.
This is why you shouldn't be on the show. Bosk.
2.
Ooh, 2. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. IG-11.
3.
IG-11, 3.
I'm holding that one spot just in case.
Cad Bane.
I'm gonna roll the dice and just put him at 1 because honestly, when you said it, I was like, Cad Bane was pretty sweet in Book of Boba Fett.
I think you're gonna be happy with this. And Jango Fett.
Oh yeah, 4. Yeah.
Right, so your listings are not that. Right here. Here we go. There's your listing. Cad Bane, Bosk, IG-11, Jango Fett, and Zam Wessel. You go with those?
Oh yeah, that's solid.
I don't even know if I said Zam Wessel right. I don't think I did.
I think you got
Wessel. Is that Weasel? Weasley? Zam Weasley.
Suicide Squad.
All right, you want to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Hold on, we can't till I find the odds graphic. This is just flawless execution on the show.
The ability of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, you don't even need to know the last word.
Never Tell Me the Odds, brought to you and me and everyone in the wonderful galaxy of Star Wars by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you go over to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and just support us in any way we can so that we can talk about things that don't exist yet. because we don't have any Star Wars, but that's okay because we love Star Wars and all we want to do is talk about it every single day with the following people who always support us. Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Canoe, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D,
Josh Price, Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Denner's Disney, Desi, Charlotte, and Ron Prasak.
You think like by now we would have most of these names memorized, but I think it's just like the second I start talking, I'm like, nope, I gotta read it. I do not want to screw up someone's name.
That's the thing. Like, I think I could do it, but I'm also like, I would screw up like the second. I'd be like, where are you?
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to mention, I got Star Wars hot sauces.
Oh, what's that?
For Christmas. They're hot sauces in Stormtrooper heads.
Oh, that's really cool.
Interesting. They're really cool. I'll send you a picture. They are cool. Cool.
Nice.
I never told the odds about you by Patreon. Thank you so much, Patreon. The first odd, Hondo appearing in live action in the next 2 years. In the next 2 years. I changed it from what I sent you. I can do that because I am talking. Hondo, next 2 years. Hondo!
If Filoni was putting out something that he was in control of in the next 2 years, I'd say 95%. But like, I feel like no, I want it to happen so badly, especially with the ride. Like, come on, I'm gonna go 70%.
70% for Bragg. I'm gonna go 42. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am dead wrong on that. Our next, the Ray movie will begin filming this year in 2024. Rumor was in the spring, but the delays and everything. Who knows? Will we get it?
I'm going to go full Brock on this, 50-50, because it's like, what are they waiting for? Like, let's go. Start filming, start shooting.
Script. Start shooting,
Yeah. Like,
they need a script.
And it's only January, whatever. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of time from now until then. I'm pretty sure people want to start working as much as possible, even though it's like COVID has been over for a while and things are normalizing. I'm sure people are eager to work. So,
I'm gonna go 70%. 70%. Why not? Okay. And our final odd today, will we see a young Leia in Andor season 2? We're going to get a young Princess of Alderaan. And it won't be the actress from Kenobi, a little bit older, closer to Carrie Fisher's age, but are we going to get a young Leia in Andor season 2?
It'd be nice, and just do it like you did in Rogue One, where she's just there, and you're like, oh. So those things, they should just always have ready. Just sprinkle in a couple little things where, like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's like, yeah, there it is. So yeah, I want to say, so like young adult Leia, like almost like 18, 9, or like whatever age, No Hope sort of thing.
Yeah, I think she'd have to be like a year younger, or whenever it is, it would either be 5 years before or a year before. So, if it's in the first 3 episodes, you could get someone like quite young, but then the further along you get in the series, she's gonna have to be Carrie Fisher. So I don't know what you do. I think the recasting is a good idea. I think at this point, it's a TV show too. We can get away with it. Yeah. I don't think they're going to do it. I just feel like that crew isn't about that, but I am. So I say do it. I'm going to go 67% because that's what I want. I really feel like it's 13%, but I'm going to go 67 because I'm playing with fire, and we don't ever go back and we never look back at these anyways.
Oh, I don't watch this after it's done.
Actually, we went back after The Last Jedi because we predicted a lot of The Last Jedi, and
we should clip all of these and just have them handy. Like, did we say anything like? But let's say, I love it. So I want it to happen. I'm going to say 75%.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm optimistic on all these ones. They're all things I want to happen, so I'm in.
Yeah. Make it happen, KK.
Yeah, manifest it.
Yeah, I know you're fired and you're probably sleeping in a tent somewhere, but make it happen. And by tent, I mean like probably like a big like tour bus somewhere. We got that. All right, do you have news?
I do. I cut and pasted so good today.
All right, hollow news. Da, 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 hollow news. Da, 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 hollow. Da, 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 da. Can't remember the song.
Hollow news. The news you need to know right now. Star Wars Outlaw, Ubisoft, upcoming action-adventure game that follows scoundrel Kay Vess between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, previously had no release date beyond a very broad 2024 window. Today, however, Disney's Park blog post quietly announced it would launch in late 2024. This didn't last long as Ubisoft promptly swooped in to correct the record and reassert the game 2024 timeframe. Over on the Disney Park website, Director of Editorial Content Thomas Smith detailed 24 company-related experiences coming over the course of the next 12 months. You've got a new attraction based on the 2009 Princess of the Frog, theatrical production of Little Mermaid, and none of this. And Ubisoft's massive entertainment upcoming Star Wars adventure, announcing that the game would come out towards the end of 2024. Star Wars Outlaws, the open Star Wars world game, is set to release later this year, the blurb previously read. This game lets you explore distinct planets across the galaxy, both iconic and new. You can risk it all as Kay Vess, an emerging scoundrel, and if you've seen this trailer for it, it's pretty sweet. So, but it turns out it's not coming anytime soon, so pump the brakes, but whatever. The game looks cool. Might have to get a new platform for that one. I don't know. Adam Driver has officially shut down hope that his fan favorite character, Kylo Ren, who appeared in the Star Wars sequels from 2015 to 2019, will return the franchise following his demise in 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. On a Boxing Day episode of Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes' Smart List podcast, Driver said that although there's more Star Wars content in the works, none of it involves them. They're doing stuff, yeah, but not with me. I'm not doing any more, that says Driver. And in other movie news, John Wick director Chad Stahelski prefers creating his own films over working with huge franchises, but still wants to take a swing at Star Wars. Speaking to Josh Horowitz, he said, "I'm a Star Wars guy. The first Star Wars changed my life path. Maybe someday out there, Disney, if you're listening, hit me in a couple of years. I have a couple of takes for Star Wars. I'd take a swing at that, see if Disney would survive me." That would be pretty sweet. I don't know. Like, Keanu Reeves, he could be a good Jedi, but who knows? And this has been your Hollow News.
Da 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 da. Top five. Top five Star Wars quotes, and I'm going to give my 5 now. 5 was my number 1, but I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to "I Am Your Father" at number 5.
Oh yes, top 5.
It was number 1, and then I was like, quotes. You know what? That's such a cop out. Such a cop out.
I'm gonna put this one not because it's terrible, but it just popped into my head recently. I think from the rankings episode, I was like, "You might not recognize me because of my red arm." I'm like, it's a good line.
It's such a good line. I forget like how good. Like it was just so stupid. Mm-hmm. My number 4, I'm gonna go with I know. I
have a mug that says
that. I know.
From Goodwill Hunting.
You're no longer good, Will Hunting.
My number 4 is going to be another C-3PO quote. I'm totally going to misquote it, but it's from Return of the Jedi. It's like, "I'm afraid our small friend has gone and done something drastic." When the Ewok goes and like starts the fucking Battle of Endor, I'm like, yeah. I'm afraid our small friend has gone and done something drastic. I don't think that has to be.
I don't know why none of my quotes are Ewoks. All the Ewok lines should be on my top 5. My number 3 is there will be no one to stop us this time. There will be no one to stop us this time. It's not funny and it's not impactful, but as a child for about 15 years of my life, my father would say the lines, "Leave that to me," which I had to take off of this, and there will be no one to stop us this time, randomly throughout the day for the first 15 years of my life, possibly even more than that. These are quoted from my father, and so I'm going with that line because it is forever engraved in my mind.
Mine is sorry, I just looked it up. The quote I just did was, "I'm afraid our furry companion has gone and done something rather rash." My number 3 is going to be shoot, there's so many. I don't want to do like the overly cliche iconic ones. I'm going to go with something from Force Awakens because I love the interactions of Rey and Finn when they first meet. It's like I'm gonna go with it's like garbage will do, and it's the Millennium Falcon. Trash will do. No, the garbage will do.
My number 2 is also from The Force Awakens, and I think I'm gonna go with the 3PO line. I had "That's not how the Force works" written down, but I think I like the 3PO line. Nice. You probably don't remember because when we did that ranking show, it like came back to me. I'm like, I forgot. And our friend Daryl gave me a bobblehead of C-3PO with the red arm because that line made him laugh so much. And he hates Star Wars. He comes and he hates his life for 2.5 hours every time we go see a Star Wars movie. And he liked that line so much he got me the bobblehead. So I'm gonna go that line because that's a great line.
Nice. You're on. Was that number 2?
2.
My number 2 is going to be a quote, again, from Force Awakens, which is shocking. I don't know if you noticed. I'm just pulling these out of the air. The Poe Dameron line about BB-8, yellow, white, and orange astromech, one of a kind. I was like, that's awesome. Like, just one of a kind. Like,
Vader goes into a record store and asks for the latest Wham record. The employee says it's sold out. Vader responds, "I find your lack of faith disturbing."
Whoa, boom.
How do you block a user from the channel? That's a good joke. I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to take away that quote on the bottom, and it'll be just use it for me. My number 1, I'm going to go full cheap out mode. This is the way. This is the way. This is the way. I have spoken.
I'm just gonna
Which one's my number 1? I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell you. So this is the way is my number 1 because it kind of became a cultural phenomenon over the last couple of years. And why not?
I'm just going to go OG and say, "That's no moon." Because it's like, I feel like that's the line everyone goes to when they're like, "You like Star Wars? That's no moon." But yeah, or maybe I'll flesh it out and be like, "That's no moon. It's a space station." Is that the right quote? I don't know.
I got in trouble from Erin the other day because not the other day. It was like 2 months ago. Actually, maybe it was like 4 months ago. But we have our daughter, and she was whatever, however much old she was at the time, and she's like starting to. We have these cards, and she was starting to notice like what's on the card is like in real life. And our window was open, and it was a full moon, and we were looking at it, and she happened to pull up the moon card like random. It was just weird, randomly, and she went like this, and she looked up. And Aaron goes, "The moon." And then I said, "That's no moon." And Aaron said, "Don't say that, you'll confuse her." And I was like, I don't know what's more important, confusing her over the moon or letting her know that it could be a space station.
It could be a space station.
I know it could be. We don't even know. The moon could be a space station. We don't have any evidence to prove that it's not.
Absolutely. Boom.
And Heidi's number 1 is Carson Teva. Okay.
He delivers so hard in that show. Or all those shows that he's in now. Like, what a dream.
Yeah. He's going to get a spinoff for sure.
Oh,
100%. 100%. Episode 306.
Wow.
Feels like just yesterday was yesterday. Can't believe we've done this. Like we did our 8th ranking show. Like 8 of them, bro. Can you? I can't believe we have 8. That's 8 hours. Over 8 hours of video of us ranking Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And in the last 4 years, there hasn't even been a new one. And so Actually, so I thought this year's list was a lot different from last year, but but Rob watched both last year's and this year's, and apparently they were pretty much the exact same. I think Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker flip-flopped, and that might have been it. Everything else was basically the same as last year, so we got to start asking different people to join the list. And I'm thinking maybe asking like a 4-year-old who might have a different insight. They might pick, Rise of Skywalker #1. Yeah, I don't know. Fantasia picking Attack of the Clones first still didn't help it to get out of the basement. Here we are.
Here we are.
All right, 306. Anything else you want to say?
No. Star Wars. I'm in. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. We'll be back next week with 307. And I can't believe we're already into 2024. Did we do this? Did we start this podcast in 2015 or 2016? It was 2016 we started. Yeah, we're on it's so wild how like time has flown and we've somehow managed to talk Star Wars and
Yeah, in a city that neither one of us lives in anymore. What?
I just left. I know neither one of us. We started off in a small town of 700, 800, 900,000 people.
Yeah.
And we used to travel to your house, and you rented the basement of that house.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, you had the upstairs of that house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved far away, and then you moved away, and now neither one of us are even near that house, and we can't afford a set. So I should be getting a set, Brock, sometime in the next 25 years.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That's how I feel the most. But it should be happening. We'll see what happens. It should be this year. It should actually be this year. So we'll see me. Because right now, here, look, you want to see what's behind me? You want to see what's behind me?
Is a wall and then 2 doors?
No.
There's
a bed frame. I don't know what that is. That's a thermostat that sometimes work and a very bare wall.
Why is there a thermostat like in the center of the wall?
Every room in this house has a thermostat in the center of the wall. Now I'm going to play Tetris. Let's play Tetris.
Yes. You should always be playing for Tetris.
No, Tetris is a great. If you wake up in the morning, you can't think. Play Tetris. That's all I gotta say. Tetris.
I can see that.
Yeah, Dr. Mario is my go-to, but I like Tetris a lot. Tetris 99 is a lot of fun, but it's annoying. F-Zero 99 is just like a pain in the.
Show me your moves.
I love F-Zero. F-Zero is like the game that I don't think it's a fantastic game, but there's something about it. Maybe it's the nostalgia. I do love that game. There's just something about that. I'm like, I love this game.
It's one of those like Dark Horse Nintendo titles that like some people are in love with and some people aren't aware of. And then of course, like Smash Brothers brought like Captain Falcon to like the forefront, and we're like, who is this? But it's a fun game. Actually, that game they should make into a movie, because a lot of people you could just sell it and people be like, oh, okay, and then like they're like, actually, it's a Nintendo property. I'm like, what?
There's a rumor that Illumination's going to do like a Nintendo universe, and it's all going to come together in a Smash Brother thing. The problem with that though is like, I could, but also they have to make like quite a few good movies for that to work.
Mm-hmm.
I think Illumination could crush a Kirby movie. Like I feel like that's in their wheelhouse. I don't think they could do a Zelda movie. I don't think Illumination would be strong in an F-Zero movie. What else is in like a Yoshi movie itself? Like if they were like the next Mario Brother movies, a Yoshi, like maybe. What else is in Smash Brothers? It can't be Sonic.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong they already have.
Kirby.
That I guess. Kirby. What else?
Star Fox.
Star Fox. They might be able to do Illumination. Maybe. I feel like that's more like a DreamWorks thing though. Would be
who did Detective Pikachu? Illumination or Illumination just does animation, right?
Who made Detective Pikachu? I like that movie actually.
It's really good.
Oh, you know what? I want this to be the year.
Did you watch? Have you checked out Pokemon Concierge? Because I know you sent me a thing for it at one point.
No, is it out?
Yeah, there's only 4 episodes. It's like 20 minutes.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine. It's like everyone's like,
I like the way it looked.
it's a cozy show, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty true. And I'm like, I don't like admitting that it's a cozy anything, but that is like a type of genre now. So
yeah. I thought I loved Claymation, and I thought it looked great. So I was like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you love Pokemon. I think this year, Brock, 2024, I have a few resolutions. 2 of them are already broken. But I feel like one of them has to be I need to finally play a Pokemon game. I've played Pokemon Go, and you kind of explained it to me. So I don't really. And then I moved to the woods, and all of a sudden they all disappeared. There's no Pokemon near me. Where I used to live, like Pikachu was on like my coffee table, Squirtle was on my sink, and now like I moved here, it's like, nah, you can't play anymore. There's no Pokemon near you. So I don't really know what's good. So I want to play a Pokemon game this year. I don't know when it's like. I'm Mario Wonder. I'm still in the middle of that. That is, me and Mario Brothers. That's my favorite thing ever. So I'm having a blast with that. But I think this will be the year I play a Pokemon game. When the time comes, I'm gonna need you to tell me which one to get. And you just pick one. Pick any one you want. And then if I can't get it, we'll go through a list of what it can be. And we'll get there. And it can't be Snap. I'm not playing. My first game is not going to be Pokemon Snap. I bought you Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, you did. I still have it. Yeah. It was like a fantastic little game.
I'm not debating that, but that's not like a true Pokemon. Like, I want to play a true Pokemon game.
Well, the beauty is like the original Pokemon has been re-released on Switch as Let's Go Pikachu, so it's like you could just play that one. Is? Yeah, it's like a better version. So it's literally the first game. So
all right. So maybe I'll get that because I do want to play. I keep saying I'm going to play it. Rob gave me the red.
I remember the
red one. But the thing is, I got a Game Boy working now. But at the time, I didn't have a Game Boy to put it in, because it didn't work in any of my things. And I gave my Game Boy to my dad, so I couldn't play it. I got a Game Boy that works. It kind of works, so maybe I could do that. But yeah, if it's on Switch, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
I hope someone makes a Zelda movie, but it's live action. It's like Lord of the Rings. Anyway, all right, 306. Let's back it up. Brock, anything else you want to say?
Thanks for coming by.
That's what somebody would say when
you'll like it here. Scum.
You were always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.